everybody. It is Cinnamon Cooney, your Art Sherpa, and welcome to day 2 of the 13 Days of Halloween, or Sherpaween. On the mic is my husband, John.
Hey, guys.
We are here live, and I'm going to call out some names so that Wendy and Virginia, Linda Sue and Krista and Chris and Sharon all know that I'm really here. Because yesterday I had to be at a dentist appointment for my son, so we had to do kind of like a little bit of a shifty shift, but now we're back to our regular connected program. I think I'm doing the move from Rent. Anyways, so tonight we're going to be painting the 3 favorite sisters that I personally have. I consider them part of the Halloween court. You imagine there's a high court of Halloween. There's Jack Skellington and Sally, and of course there are the Sanderson sisters. So we're going to be doing their mouths tonight. It's a lot of fun. Colors, materials, information is in the description below. Traceables on the website, as is referenced in all that information. I've got my paint out. We'll talk about that a little bit. And I put this out just so that you knew, because you guys have been saying, hey, if I have these pouches, what's the number? So we're going to talk about what the number is, what the color is, and what the exchanges are. So no matter what you've got at home, you can paint along. It's not a big deal. I've got a 9x12 here. I've got some carbon black out, but you know what? Just Mars black, any black, lamp black, it's all good. I've got some burnt sienna, so any brown. I've got primary red, but this is essentially a cad red medium. I've got Quinacridone Magenta. I have, this is actually called yellow medium azo, but really Hansa yellow, cad yellow medium. It's just a medium, primary yellow would be fine. Titanium white, and this is the 917 purple, which any purple or violet or dog's purple will work just fine. Let me get this in here. All right. And the first part of this painting, John, is we're going to paint the whole canvas flesh tone.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, that's the scariest part of the painting, is mixing the flesh tone, right? That makes no worries. Fear not, brave travelers, into the 13 days. I have a way to help you work that out and have an easy time. No trouble. Now, I am going to use an artist knife. That's any little knife that's sort of shaped like this, and it's for mixing paint, but you could use a brush or whatever, and I'll put that aside. And I want to talk about our 9x12 canvas. It has wishes on it, John.
Does it?
Wishes for fishes. It has wishes and intentions, and we like to do this before the show. So if you're brand new watching here for the first time, stop. Hit subscribe. I do these all the time. Free live art shows. You want free live art education. Stop. Also comment, like, subscribe, all the things. YouTubery, John.
Yeah,
YouTubery. All right, so the wish here is healing and health and relief from pain. So if you're out there and you're going through something medical, we are wishing you healing, health, and relief from pain. This one is a big one and close to my heart, and certainly a topic I've been hearing a lot about lately. And this is compassion for addiction. So especially self-compassion. And I want to talk to anybody who is going through recovery at any part of your process. Maybe you're beginning recovery. Maybe you're well into your recovery. Or you're thinking about starting it, wondering if you can do it, if you have the strength for it. And I want to say, have some self-compassion, right? Sometimes it's real easy to vilify people who struggle with recovery, and it's very easy to be critical of ourselves. So it's important to have a lot of love, because I promise you that is what's going to get you through. And then especially a lot of extra support and care for those going through recovery during the extra stress that we're all under, especially with COVID. So recognize, speak up, let people know when you need help or you need people to be extra aware. I certainly have been through this with family members, and I know that just using your voice and letting people know what you need, people that love you, will help you out. And then, of course, always whenever we do any Sanderson sister, and we go, sisters coming together. So if you're in a fight with your sister, we wish you guys get reunited.
That's right.
And happy birthday to anybody whose birthday is today. So those are our wishes. I thought those were a good collection of wishes.
Those are good
today.
wishes. Yeah.
So let's make some skin tone on that note. On our note of talking about humanity, I'm going to take some white out. And at first, I'm going to get a little bit of this magenta pink, and I'm going to start mixing this into my white. And I'm making a large amount of the skin tone. And the reason for that is I'm painting the entire background that color.
Ah, that makes sense.
Right. So we'll start out with a pink. Always good. Lovely. But that's a little pink for skin, right?
Well,
Let's put a little yellow in there.
depends on, what planet you're from.
True. Sanderson sisters, while witchy, were light flesh tone.
They were Earthlings.
But you can see that moving into that sort of like Barbie flesh color.
Mm-hmm.
I like to add a little brown. And when I'm talking about a little bit, you can see how small amount of color I'm getting in there. You can always add more. It's tough to take it out. So, you want to proceed sort of slowly and get a nice color that you feel good about. One of the things you can always like come in and be like, oh, look at this against your own skin. And does that have that feeling like with makeup?
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever done this, a fun game you can play is try to match your own skin tone. Not with cadmium colors. The cadmium video where we mix skin tones, don't do it with those colors. But with regular colors like this, you can do that. So I'm going to paint the entire background with that color done.
Paint it.
Paint the whole thing.
Paint it.
So just get whatever big brush you have. I'm going to just get whatever big brush I have and paint the whole background. I'm going to get one of these here. I'm going to get it wet. And again, it doesn't matter. Any big brush you have. I will go ahead and brush out the watercolor wishes and put those into the universe. And I see everybody's talking. I see Joel Nash. Evening all. Hope Joel brought donuts.
Mm.
And I hope everyone is enjoying the 13 days this year.
I know Amy brought donut.
Always brings us. Amy's good. And I appreciate everyone who grabbed the coloring book. We're so excited to be sending those out to you. So very, very excited to get those out. If you're not aware, we finally have the coloring book available.
Christine's like, yay,
the whole
I
thing.
finally made it to be able to join on time. But here's the secret, Christine. If you make it on time, you'll surely be early.
What on earth are you talking about? I like to teach everyone how to make skin tones so that if they run out before their stuff is painted or whatever, they can adjust that. Little fleshy flesh. My canvas looks like a flesh canvas. Brush that back and forth.
That's not creepy.
Not at all. This canvas is made of flesh.
Well, you could also be that it's a
Little
peach,
less scary than the Evil Dead Necronomicon.
It's that was actually a pretty good little piece of
Cinema.
prop art when you think about it.
Yeah, it really was.
From the
And honestly, a bit of great film work. Like nobody ever did so much with like green cameras. We go through the woods, and then we go away from the woods, and then we go through the woods, and then we go away through the woods.
Dude, the Steadicam operator on that, he worked it.
Fit by the end of that movie.
I'm sure.
So we're talking about Evil Dead, a very old vintage horror movie. And yeah, the Steadicam operator. Army of Darkness was another good one. Well, so there's a whole series of it.
It's interesting how they were sort of almost rehashes of the same movie over a couple of times. They're like, wait, no, Sam Raimi was like, I got an idea. Wait, no, I can tell it better.
It's the same idea.
Wait, no, I got to do it again, but this time right.
It's the same idea.
3 shots. 3 different movies.
I bet like camera operators were like, no, I don't need to be that fit. That's a lot of running, dude. That's a lot of running. All right, I'm going to rinse out my brush, and I'm going to dry the surface. And you can see that just gives me a nice fleshy surface.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't want a fleshy surface?
Vegetarians.
And listen, be forgiving of yourself on this. Don't be harsh. Don't be critical. 1, we're trying to have fun. And 2, your flesh tone is as valid as anybody else's flesh tone. Cindy M asked, Sherpa, will you do watercolor? Will you do a watercolor using watercolor pencils? Well, since the watercolor pencils come with the coloring book, probably yeah.
Coloring book. Wonder what coloring book she's talking about. He asked rhetorically. I guess we'll have to ask her when she gets back. In the meantime, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and ring the bell so you can get all the notifications when we do go live. Or, if you really want to, I have a button somewhere. Push the button. If you want to text The Art Sherpa to 33222, you can get notifications when we go live. And also, don't forget to use your air mover on the lowest heat setting so you don't, mess up your paint, really. It can cause all sorts of weird things like shrinkage and, well, not so much shrinkage. It can, but it's really more in student paints. If you're pro paint, you don't really have to worry about this, but you can see color shift and adhesion problems when you use heat. So it's best just not to do that. Don't use heat.
I think I did, though.
I know you did.
So I just like to say that Gretchen says the Evil Dead freaked her out the first time. Yeah, isn't it weird to go back and watch horror movies that scared you like in the day and watch them now and go, wow, I am desensitized because I don't find that scary at all.
Night of the Living Dead and those blue eyes, they still get you.
They don't really get me anymore. I laughed through the whole thing.
That's right, yeah.
I think I laughed through the thing the first time. No, there was some humor there. I saw what I wanted to shout out. It was like, and Dean said, I love your channel, and I just wanted to shout that out.
Like Sam and Dean?
Like Sam and Dean.
Dude, if those two painted with us,
that would be the coolest thing ever.
That would be
the cast of Supernatural is invited to paint with us, and the crew, and Special Effects is invited to paint with us anytime.
Especially the Blood Crew.
So I'm taking a tool. We got to teach an art class.
You do. I can sit and heckle
just you do whatever you want.
I can just keep.
He's just going to do whatever he wants over there in the captain's chair. This Happy Hand tool is called a T-square. It just helps you draw a straight line. If you're good at freehanding a straight line, you don't got to worry about it. I'm going to go along and every 3 inches, mark out a line. If you are in the rest of the world, it looks like it's about 7.5 centimeters. Between 15 and 15.5 centimeters and just under 23 centimeters. And that is all of that I can handle. Not saying you're not right. I'm just saying I'm American. I'm 2 inches. I remember back when they were talking about moving us to the metric system.
There was an attempt, and all those in science said, yes, we've been doing this for a long time.
And
please
all the rest of us said, don't.
And the rest of America said, here, hold this for a second.
It's so true. Gotta get that better. Because I want to come here. I'm going to do that again. Sometimes you got to get it. I did this wrong, guys.
Did you?
Mm-hmm. And if you're laughing at me right now, that was a reasonable thing to do.
Did you do maths?
I did maths wrong. And it's why I don't teach maths on this show. That's a whole other YouTube channel. You should watch them. This is 12 inches, and I'm going to divide it into 3 parts. So actually, it's going to be 4.
It's going to be not 3? not 3 times 3?
Shh. Don't tell anyone that's coming here now. Still sub. You didn't come here for math. Sub. So across from 4 is about 10 centimeters. Do you believe me this time? I bet everyone's doubting now. 8 inches across from that is between 20 and 20 and a half. Goodness gracious. Maths, sir. I was like, how am I going to fit in Winnie's mouth in the middle? So this is fan art. And I tell you this because you shouldn't pop it on a bunch of stuff and, sell a mug. Wouldn't do it. But for fun and because you love what they do, I think it's a perfectly acceptable thing to do. Now I'm going to grab a watercolor pencil and I'm going to reach way, way across because I thought what I'd do to make this super easy is make my watercolor pencils as far away as they could possibly be.
So I just had this amusing thought. So Amy was just saying, please, let me see a photo of what you're doing behind the scenes there with like your broadcaster. And then I realized, I looked down at it, and it's like, really, it's just this array of unmarked buttons from my broadcaster because I didn't ever put any of the inserts in them.
He's never going to show you. I won't lie to you.
I won't. But
let's help you with the math. 9 divided by 2 is 4.5 inches.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I love it when my son's like, can you help me with math, Mom? I'm like, are you sure you want this?
And that's a left-handed T-square, so it's got to help you.
I'm just helping kind of divide my canvas so that I can space the mouths out really easily. Now, we have a traceable. If you don't want to draw, you don't have to do this part at all. You could just use the tracing method and transfer the image on. But if you want to do this with me, we're going to talk about each of the sisters. And we're we're going to come here and say our first mouth is Sarah. And Sarah's mouth, Sarah Sanderson, is Sarah Jessica Parker's mouth, which is this sort of very traditional, voguey mouth, right? So we're going to come up here and make a little bowed lip. A little bowed lip. I'm going to find who it is in that kitchen and get them.
No, those are children upstairs making noise.
Children's. All right, so we get the top of that lip there. And I like to add a little bit of a smile. Make sure that you give your lip enough thickness. If you think about it, they're sort of inflated tires. That's how I think about them. So I want to make sure I've got enough. I don't want to make them too thin. And then her smile is sort of big and drops down, and she shows a lot of teeth. So I'm going to give a lot of room for teeth. I'm going to come up here. Never drawn a mouth. This is almost kind of a little bit of a lesson in that. You want the bottom lip to be as big or in a similar size range as the top lip. It isn't always in portrait painting, but when we're talking about, looking at each of the actresses, we kind of use their mouths. As that. Don't forget that she's got a little mole there. I'm going to divide the mouth in half and then in half again. Make sure that the top teeth are a little bigger and take up more of the space than the bottom teeth. I'm going to come here and divide it out again and again in half. Divide and divide. So we've sketched in a mouth. What do you think of that?
I think it's funny.
What's funny?
Jane just had my Daryl Hannah moment from when I was watching Blade Runner, and it goes, oh, Pris is Daryl Hannah. She was just going, oh my gosh. She didn't know that was just Sarah Jessica Parker. It was just like, oh my gosh, it is.
I totally get how that. Every once in a while, I'll go back and watch something, and I was like, "Who was that actor?
I know.
Was that Pee Wee Herman?
Right
I
now.
think that was Pee Wee Herman."
See, I had that moment with.
So
Daryl
I'm going to
Hannah.
bring a little
It's
curved line down. I want to leave at least 2 fingers above my mouth for my nose.
Yeah.
And come across here, and I arc that in.
They have very unique noses.
They did, and I tried to sort of play with those and exaggerate those a bit, just so that the characters, because they did a little special effects makeup on the girls too. They exaggerated some stuff. It's really interesting to look. And I'm using a watercolor pencil here because it will vanish into the paint and not mess up the painting. So about the same thing, I've got Winifred's mouth. And we're going to come up here and do the top lip. Now, the thing about her mouth is it's all about the teeth. So you're going to want to exaggerate whatever you've got going on. You got to give Winnie her teeth. And I love that even though she was an all-powerful witch, she did not get dental work. These women did not invest in glamour.
Or
they were like, we are what we are.
She did, and this is what they had to work with.
They eat children, no. They're immortal, but I mean, they weren't like wasting a bunch of like energy on nonsense. I'm going to come underneath here as well with this little matching bow. So if you see it dips down and this is going to dip down, you're going to come up here. Make sure this mouth is smiling. It's because it's Bette Midler. She always has a bit of a smile going. Now the teeth are great. I bring a line down and I'm going to go fairly far. You're not going to be sorry you exaggerated this part of the character because this is how, even though we're just looking at mouths, we know who it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we get there. Then we're going to come just on either side of the teeth, just barely, and it should be into a pretty substantial little point here. Right? She's got a bit of an exaggeration in her mouth.
Kind of biting her lower lip and pulling it in a little bit.
This is just buck teeth. It's like you didn't watch Hocus Pocus. I'm going to let you guys know John has not really watched Hocus Pocus.
I have watched it. I watched it once all the way through when it came out.
Now I'm going to make a vertical oval over the nose like this. And it's very light. We're going to come back a bit. A little more pulled back on the nostrils. Right? A little bit more pulled back on the nostrils. This line will be a bit exaggerated. I'm going to pull another curve down. And I will let these go up a bit more. So that's that exaggerated nose. Are you guys like loving how to do the like noses and mouths? Cindy M says, thank you for something. Peggy loves the ventriloquist from yesterday. I am not caught up to chat.
Come on.
Who is Agent Coulson?
Right.
Linda. Your family. Linda. Who is Agent Coulson?
They can't believe that I haven't
She's
seen
super cute and funny and stylish and lent me this necklace. So we're going to we're going to send love. She doesn't watch series and she's not that into Marvel. But she's a lot of fun and she's a yaya and she knows everybody in Hocus Pocus. So it's okay. This here, Mary's mouth is my favorite mouth. It's the hardest mouth in a sense because it's pulled in a very unexpected way. So what I generally do is I put a more point on the lip here. I'm going to bring this mouth over where there's a bit of a smile to it. Right? Because she's always got kind of the actress pulled her mouth in the most incredible way through the whole movie.
Yeah.
She was like, how many crazy expressions can I make in one film? Many. If you haven't seen Hocus Pocus, it's really a lot of fun. It's held up, and they're going to make another one. There. Now the lower lip exaggerates and comes down in a loop down where she's pulled it down. It's sort of like a reverse Elvis Presley. She's doing the reverse, like this is the Elvis and then the reverse Elvis. I bet she thought of that too. I bet she's like, reverse Elvis. So this goes down like this. All right. And then we're going to take some teeth across the bottom. She has a few teeth showing down here. I'll just make sure that these are showing. A few little teeth. And then her tongue is showing, interestingly enough. So, and that still centers. Even though she's pulled her mouth out of shape, her tongue is still centered. And I'm going to come above here, about the same range as the other girl's nose. And this nose is very different. I'm going to make a straight line. Curve up. And curve up. And again, you can use chalk like I normally use. I'm just doing this because you will never see chalk on flesh tone. It's like, it'll just be like, I'm pranking you. You'll be like, it's not trick and it's not treat. It just is not fun, man. All right, we're gonna bring this up a good bit up. Good bit up. And then again, the nostrils here. And then on her, I do the binasal lines. If you're wondering what those are coming off your nose into your mouth, these are binasal lines. Aren't they wonderful? We're not going to give her any fillers. I'm fine. I'm fine. Now, I might make up a little more skin tone because I painted through a bit of it, but I want to make it a little darker this time, if I may. If you will allow me.
Of course. I will take away the...
I'm going to put that there. I'm going to do a little more of the pink. Now, the nice thing about having flesh tone to the side is besides the shading we're going to do, is we're going to do a slightly darker flesh tone for the nose. If you have to do any boo-boo repair, you can lighten it really easily and repair any boo-boos that you might have. A little stronger in the brown so that we have a bit of a shadow. So we want this flesh tone to be a shade darker than the first flesh tone you made. Shadow flesh. But not in the really cool way that you might think we would mean. And have that as, I still think that could be a shade darker. So it's easier to add than take away when making flesh tones. And guys, I have been working on stuff all day. I've been palette knife painting all day, which is why you see these knives out. I did 4 today.
The knivs. 4
today. All right, so you've got your nice dark shadow. You've got your lips drawn in. It's looking pretty good. You're going to grab, I'm going to use one of these 2 brushes for most of this. And I think I'm going to start with the number 12 Silverstone Round. I'm going to get it wet. Any round brush will work. Wet, wet, wet. And I'm going to come here and thin some black paint. Now I can always come back and later reline, but I'm going to line everything right now just to make my life a bit easier. You just take this on the toe, you pull this down, and you're just creating kind of an even line. If you're really new to painting, even lines can be shockingly difficult. I'm going to press a little harder to create those little nostrils. Kind of thicken that stroke there. Create those. And I'll pull a little side nostril up. There we go. We got her nose, the start of it. And then we'll give her a light line around her lip. Now, after we paint these in, if we paint out any of our black lines, we can always come back and reline. What is your favorite mouth, I wonder?
That's pretty crazy.
Sharon's
cool.
dealing with an olive oil spill, watching while cleaning. Who knew how hard it is to get it all clean? Dude, not for nothing, olive oil, straight problem. You're going to have to solving it out.
I would probably use Power Purple or Simple Green.
Yeah, I would get some Power Purple out.
Because I use Power Purple to degrease engine parts, and it's so, that probably would do it. Here we are, anecdotally giving house cleaning advice.
Yeah, we don't give math advice for reasons that you witnessed.
You know what would clean up that mess?
What?
Sherpa soap.
I was thinking that Sherpa soap would break up the olive oil quite well.
I use Sherpa soap for everything. Because it works.
Even lying, I think it would work. Now here, I'm not going to trace the whole oval. It's some of the oval. I'm hearing just a little bit of a nostril. A little bit of a nostril. And again, this is a bit of a face class, unintentionally, isn't it? All right. I'm going to see Linda Sue. I just ordered the coloring book. I can't wait, says the butcher's wife. Thank you for getting the coloring book. Now, the coloring book is a collaboration between myself and Stephanie Bergeron, and there's 25 images inspired by my designs in the book, and they're all done in mandala style. And did I say that correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're super zen in coloring, and it's just really great stuff.
I don't think the mandala police will come get you.
I don't think so. Well, what it was is Stephanie had done a floral mandala coloring book, and I was like, we need to do something together. So we did. It's super cool. And if you get the book, it comes signed by me with coloring, watercolor color pencils.
Yeah, some actually really nice ones.
Yeah.
Quite nice. They're
the Create-A-Color ones. And if you want to know more about Create-A-Color, Pierre of Savoir Faire is going to be giving a lecture on Instagram. Oh, wait, is this Friday? Never mind, you missed it. He'll probably put it on his Facebook page, Savoir Faire's Facebook page.
I'm going to give out a shout out to my friend who did a broadcast this morning.
I'm a professional YouTuber. How about you? Heather wants to know if we can see the reference again.
Yeah. Hold on a second.
And if you guys want to print out the reference, it is on the website as well. So if you have a printer and you'd like to print it out just to have next to you to really look at, that's something you can do as well. And we can keep this up here while I am black lining for a minute because I'm just doing this. That's what this is called. I'm black lining. And it's what kind of gives it that graphic feel. The trick about this is keeping the pressure on your brush fairly light so that you keep the point fairly sharp on your brush. I'm not pressing down hard, and I rest my wrist, and sometimes John's able to even catch that on the dry canvas to help steady my hand. If you can't rest your wrist for some reason, you can use a tool called a maul stick or a bridge. Those are artist drawing and painting tools that help you steady your hand when you can't do so in other ways. I like this nose. It's very, very angular. And I think it's really fun how we charactered each of the noses as so different from each other. I think I got a little smaller with Winnie's nose on this free-handed one, but that's just how that goes sometimes. When you freehand. And that just lets you know that even I don't necessarily just paint myself like a Xerox copy from one painting to the next when I'm doing renditions of them. But don't put pressure on yourself to be a Xerox copy. Because if I'm not going to be a Xerox copy, why should you? That'd be crazy. Don't do that. I'm weirdly up for this evening show.
Are you?
Yes, weirdly. Tomorrow's another fun one. We're going to be during the day tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern, I believe. I have to check, though. You check the YouTube channel. YouTube channel knows. Whatever it says, it's true. Unless you have like some sort of routing, a disguising tool like a VPN, and or you have your box set incorrectly like I do, and then it doesn't know.
All the time.
That's what kind of throws off Facebook's and YouTube's auto clock. See, we're just making this nice little black line. This part of the painting is very chill.
Yeah.
Chill. And it can be a little hard to learn how to keep your brush pressure light. It can be a little challenging. I'm going to dip in water. When you see me dipping in water, I'm getting a drop, and I am coming here and pulling paint out from the side, and I flip it and I smooth it. If you need to know more about how to do these techniques and you don't have a lot of time, we have a playlist, 5 to 10 minute videos. And I also have a Start Here playlist. If you find my Start Here playlist, if you've never painted before, I highly recommend starting there. It has a bunch of good tips and explains some stuff that you as a new painter will want to know so that the paint doesn't aggravate you. Am I leaning in? Am I okay? Sometimes I lean into his camera space. I feel so far back, but I feel my head tilting, and then I'm like, oh, am I leaning in? Look at that, guys. All right.
Oh.
Yes, this is a number 12 Silverwhite brush round. It's a number 12 Silverwhite round. This is by Silver Brush Limited. They are not particularly high-end brush. Like, it's not like they're super Ferrari brush, but it's really quality. It's a very good brush. It holds a super nice point. It's a great multimedia brush. It works well with acrylic. It works well with softer paints and heavier paints. It's just a nice kind of go everywhere, do everything brush.
Now, just to recap here, from left to right, we've got Sarah, Winnie, and Mary. And that was Sarah, Jessica Parker,
Bette Midler, and Midler. I never remember the last actress's name.
I had to look up how to say it because it's Kathy Ann Najimy.
Now, we have Harshy's Fun Activity says, who is Winnie? Which is reasonable. If you don't watch a lot of Halloween movies, you might not know there was a movie. It's a cult classic. It's kid-friendly called Hocus Pocus. And it's funny and campy. And it has just the best sisters who go amok, amok, amok all over town trying to do witchy things. So if that's something that you like and you like Halloween movies, you would really like that. And it's not scary as much as it is funny. All right, now I'm going to take my shadow.
Okay.
My shadow color. My shadow flesh tone. And I'm going to come here and see if, nope, it's not dark enough. I'm going to get some more brown in there. I always like to be like, is it dark enough? And if it's not dark enough, I go get some more brown into it. So I just mixed another color that was too close to the first flesh tone, and that won't work. You need a shadow. Something that is registering. I would even want to go darker than that.
Really?
Yeah, I want to really be able to see. It's got to come along the nose and kind of register as a shadow. There we go.
I guess that's one of those things where you have to be a little brave.
Be a little brave. I'm going to come around Winnie's nose here and do the flip. So yeah, if you didn't know who these characters were, it would feel like I have just lost my mind and started painting some noses and mouths for no reason at all. I'm like, those are weird noses and mouths. Unsub. No, don't. Hang in with me. I promise it's good.
Are you making faces at me?
I'm making faces at all of YouTube. That was a good dad joke there. Coming here and adding these little shadows. They're subtle, but they're very nice on the painting.
They're really viewable from the top.
Yeah, and they look really nice. They just give a little bit of dimensionality. And what's nice is that when we come back with the highlight, it really helps those show. So it just gives that little bit of extra zhuzh. Now, there was supposed to be stuff for my Teespring store that is based on Winnie. It's up for a limited time, but for some reason, 66 items are in review from our Teespring store and have been for months.
Huh.
Yeah, I wrote a bunch of people tonight. That's why it took me a minute to get downstairs. I was all mad.
Where's my review?
That's what it was like. I wrote everybody. I'm like, because I had put the
It's not
stuff.
like there's a pandemic going on.
No, I mean, it's been months. It's been longer than the pandemic. I looked at the dates. I was like, is it the pandemic? And I was like, it's not. Now I am super mad.
Don't even get me started. # Amazon approval process.
Jeff Bezos, I do want to work with you. Got to talk about some content ID and your approval process a little bit. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and paint all my teeth white. And I'm just taking white teeth and just go ahead and fill in your teeth. Now, if it's difficult to paint in each tooth, you can actually go over them and the black line will show through and then you can clean up that black line. So either way is okay. However you want to do it. So like, what I mean by that is if I wanted to come here and just paint it like this.
Oh, yeah.
And then I can come back later and
touch
put
up the
those black lines back.
Yeah.
And so that can be an easier process. Either way. Paint little tiny lines. And I might have to put that lip line back because I got a little excited with my white line on the teeth. There we go. So, gonna get that wet and just paint in all the rest of the teeths. All the teeths. Paint all the teeths. And we'll just put the black lines back. That's just the easiest way to do it. Because again, they'll faintly show through. Even with Golden's titanium white, they should faintly show through a little bit. Enough that once it's dry, you can put it back. And what's great, while I have this white on my brush and come to the noses, I'll start here. And add some highlights to the noses.
Yeah.
Nose. Now, we are being very loose and graphic, but honestly, this is really when you're painting nostrils and it's lit from directly on, these are highlights that you get. That isn't unrealistic highlighting in any way. However you want to do that. All right. Mary Youngblood says, Kathy Nimji did a play as a nun sister. Oh, yeah, the sister nuns. That's right. And then Amy Ovard, I've decided that 2020 needs to burn. Why does it seem like it's the year of bad news? I don't know. It just is an overachiever in the suck. It just got up and said, other years have sucked, but I thought I'd really bring it. Zombie Storms was my last straw. I was like, no, 2020. No, there are no zombie storms. If you make Sharknado a documentary, I will come find where yours come from and end you. I will be like Jack the Pumpkin King fixing Christmas. You're going to be like, what happened 2020? And I'm going to be like, you made a zombie storm. But that's what they call them. I'm taking my magenta and I'm going to come to this top lip, our first top lip, and I'm going to brush this along, and it's just the pure magenta.
Okay, so I was reading Mary's, I should say Kathy's work history.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2020, she did a spot on Robot Chicken as Mary Sanderson, as the voice.
Oh.
So I'm gonna have to. I'm sure that's not safe for work or Sherpa.
I'm sure not, but Robot Chicken be funny. Not safe for work or good for kids.
What was the thing that you showed me the other day that was supposed to be made by the creators of Robot Chicken? And I was like, well, they've not been kicking each other in the gym.
Crossing swords?
That's what it was. And I was like, well, they aren't kicking each other in the gym yet, so it can't be by then. Sure enough, the next scene. Sorry, that's just...
Happy Halloween! How are you guys doing? All right, Deborah Paxton says, day 1 done today. First time in my studio since I have been in the ICU. Well, I am super glad you are out of the ICU. Are you out of the ICU? She said some other things, N-O not, but I don't know what that means. Like, that could be like no not, but I'm not sure. And Darcy said, I love the vacuum cleaner she had to ride. I love the vacuum cleaner she had to ride. And the butcher's wife, when are the coloring books being mailed? Sorry if it's been answered. They'll start going out tomorrow because I have to sit down and hand sign all the books. So my team has me like, they got a little pile and they got the little pens out, and there's going to be a little coffee cup and they're going to get me over there. So good question. Good question. And I've added a little white to my magenta here, and I'm just making a pink. Now, this is a fun little graphic piece, but just so you know, again, in most lighting, the upper lip is a little darker than the bottom lip. That's why I made these little decisions. So, yeah, it's a little simple. It's a little graphic, sure. But that doesn't mean that we don't do the things we know are supposed to happen in a painting, right? And it's got a bit of a coloring book feel to it because like we do the black lining, which I really like. And again, remember, we're going to come back and clean up any of the black lining that we don't love.
Are you going to do some paint-alongs in the coloring book?
Would you guys like some paint-alongs in the coloring book? I didn't know if anybody would find that super interesting.
I think that was the question that was being asked.
Let me know. Come in here. Do you want to have paint-alongs with the coloring book? Like, is that one? Does the general population want to see me color? I don't know. I'm pretty good at coloring. And would you like that? Because I could do that.
Could color together.
Oh, Deborah said it was not the virus. She was just sick and finally decided I needed ICU to help. Well, I'm glad you went and got medical help. If you need medical help, get medical help. It's important. I'm hoping you're going to do a painting of the book. Oh, from Evil Dead or from Hocus Pocus. I think she must mean Hocus Pocus. I'm going to get some clean water here, and I'm going to load up the red. And again, you can show them the reference. So, because we're going to be doing Winifred's mouth. Right, her mouth is the most complicated of the 3 mouths in this design set.
Why do you say that?
I did the most reflections on it.
Button. That's a big button.
If you look at the reference, you can see that the most reflections are on that one and the most shadows. So that's the complicated mouth that you've got. Now, if you don't love the coverage of your paint, I'm loving mine, but if you at home are not loving yours, guess what? Just do 2 coats. Just do 3 coats.
So what I would say is that there has been a yes to all 3 variations of the question.
Okay.
So.
All right. So you guys can have whatever you want. I mean, I'm really only on here for the grace of you. So if you would like that, you can totally have that.
Yep.
Really love this painting. Now I'm going to do 2 coats here. Right?
Okay.
Just to really make it pop red.
Just make sure and the extra coating, that'll make it really pop, but you have to make sure the layer below it is dry so that when you're painting, you don't get any lifting or funny behavior. And boy, she's got it on high gear. Make sure that gets dry fast. And don't do what she does and use heat, because it can, every once in a while, you'll see that she'll be like, oh, it did this thing that I didn't expect it to do. And I'll be like, well, did you have the heat on? And she'll be like, well, maybe. And I'll be like, well, see, I told you.
What?
Nothing.
Are you saying that I leave the heat on sometimes?
Maybe. and maybe tattling on you. And then every once in a while you'll be like, well, it's
That's
down.
fine. I've been watching The Boys ahead of you. Haha. Netflix. I'm on like episode 7, sir. You're going to have to rewatch with me later. Too slow.
I don't, which one was that?
Who's the superhero one that's so good?
Maybe.
I think I should have a Netflix show. Don't you guys think I should have a Netflix show? Oh, not Netflix, a Prime show.
Prime?
Show on Prime. I think I need a show on Prime. The Boys is on Prime, as is Lovecraft Country. Prime. I think that I should have an Amazon Prime show. I don't know that that's true. I can't get any of this stuff done. We can't get through the approval process. You can see we're 2 coats, just does a nice, lovely job.
It does.
You rinse out, and guess what we get to do next? Paint a pink tongue and some purple mouth.
Uh-huh.
The pink tongue is, well, it's fairly straightforward. Mix the color pink, red and white. I'm going to mix it here with my brush. And notice, guys, I haven't even changed a brush here. I'm not knowing where I was going there. I'm going to paint the wrong thing pink.
Oh, the book is not available on Amazon yet, but it is available on our website.
Yeah, it will be. It has the whatever the thing is.
All the UPC, it's registered as a regular old book. We got an ISBN number and all that other stuff. The issue is production and the ability to get the raw materials because we're doing a pretty high quality product, relatively speaking.
Relatively speaking.
It's a
real watercolor paper.
Real watercolor paper that my wife would not support until she saw her daughter thoroughly soak it in water and torture it for about an hour, and then she was like, "Okay, you can use this paper."
It's the Luna test. Luna is a vigorous artist. You paint your little tongue. Nice pink color. Isn't that lovely? Rinse out. And then we're going to just paint the lips purple. Now the trick here is I'm going to take a little of my magenta over to my purple and I mix those 2 colors together. They kind of balance each other out. I do want her lips to be purple because if you remember, that was like her color scheme. But I will want the top lip to be a little bit darker than the base lip. Just coming along here. When you got to go around a curve, just lighten up your brush. Go around curves. Line up. All you got to do. Uh-oh. Hidden drop was sitting there. What brush is Cinnamon using, says Jackie Botala. This is a number 12 Silverwhite Round. Just a good quality round brush. So what I'll tell you is you don't have to have my tools, my colors, any of those things. You can buy your own paint, buy your own tools, and that is always okay. And we are super happy to have you. What I will say is buy the best materials that your budget will sustain. Mm-hmm. Don't put yourself out on your budget. And quality tools, they don't have to be the most expensive tools, but quality is important. Expensive isn't important, but quality is important.
Diane asks, any update on the acrylic April book?
Soon. The coloring book was a big step forward in that because now.
So the behind the scenes is I'm doing some proofing right now of some print proofs, and we just got the last layout that should be with corrections. So
I just got to review it.
We're going to do another review of that in the next 24, 48 hours, but we have some priorities of getting the books that we have signed out, and then we have I guess imminently is what John's trying to tell you. Well, I mean, like the next couple of days, we've got production, like 250 books are going through the press, so
yeah.
It's after that.
Yeah.
So after that, we have.
Now you get to sign 250 bucks.
Well, you got to sign the stack.
And that's just what is going on right now. No, that isn't like what I wake up to tomorrow. So
no, you won't have to sign those for a couple days.
Now I feel like that top purple lip is a little bit streaky, so I can let it dry for a minute and go work on this. And if when I get back to it, I can always hand dry it. I'm going to go through, and the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to get some white on my brush. And I'm going to come here, pretty amply loaded white, and I'm going to make just a solitary little reflection.
Huh.
That's not bad, right?
No, not
you
at all.
can handle that. You've got that.
I might even be able to do that.
Yeah. And then I'm going to go ahead and get some black paint. Now here's a strategy. This pink cup, which is my cleanest water, I'm going to leave for all my pinky lippy things. But for my black, I'm going to move into my dirtiest water to rinse it out. That way I'm not contaminating my water and I can keep my colors as bright as possible.
Ooh. Chloe asks, are the 13 days of Halloween going to get gradually more difficult like Acrylic April did?
No.
Was that an intentional design in Acrylic April?
That is an intentional design in Acrylic April. In Acrylic April, we start out easy and we build up each skill, building into the next skill. So like Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off, Karate Kid style. I have you do a thing, I have you do a thing, I have you do a thing. At the end of it, you and Cobra Kai face off and you do crane kick and win the tournament.
Crane kick beats Cobra Kai.
Always. Silly martial arts stuff.
For all you people watching Cobra Kai, Mr. Miyagi is disappointed.
Why?
Because it's not supposed to be Cobra Kai.
What is it?
It's Mr. Miyagi's dojo.
No, it beats the crane kick.
Yeah, it beats Cobra Kai.
Beats Cobra Kai.
But everybody's out there like rooting for Cobra Kai now because they got their own Netflix
series. They got their own Netflix. I forgot that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the point. So Acrylic April, it gets progressively harder. The 13 Days of Halloween, we keep it more chill. We've got one kind of awesome still life, but mostly for the most parts, one hoot. And we have some short technique classes. So all levels can participate. All ages can participate. We do kind of a similar thing for the 12 days of winter holiday. There we go. That's looking pretty sharp.
It is.
Now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put in that center line. And I'm going to just kind of use the black here to exaggerate that, making a little kind of divot pocket. If you'll show them the mouth again, the reference.
Oh, sure. Let's see here.
And I will move the white down so we can see it below there. So you can kind of see that we put the little white there. I'm going to add a little white out here. Oh, I just wasn't paying attention. I just put the black in my pink paint. What? Just when I said don't do it, I did it.
Don't do that.
I'm going to load up just on my toe. And John's going to keep the reference up because I'm going to use it too.
Oh, okay. Guess
I'm
what? I'm going to keep the reference up.
Do you need my cup out of the way? Or are you okay catching this?
I'm good.
So this is a series of like little teeny tiny little reflections, right? So her mouth is just a little more reflecty. She got the good MAC lipstick going. Oh, if you've done any of the more high definition lips with me, you're kind of familiar with this process. Now I roll and I just keep this all on the toe, just tippy toe of my brush. You catch questions while I'm doing the little dippy dips. Because I can't look at chat. Sure.
Can't look at chat?
I can't.
Look away from the chat. You will never be able to take your eyes off it if you look deeply.
No, I'm fine. You're fine. We're fine. Be fine.
You know what they say? If you stare into the chat stares back into your soul. Jane says, what is Inktober? To Harishi's question of, is anyone doing Inktober?
Oh, so Inktober is a monthly challenge. It's a month-long challenge where participants commit to drawing every day using just ink to improve their drawing skills. It was started by a man named Jake Parker a long time ago. Lots of participants. It's global. Right now, there's a lot of controversy around the event, but here's what I'll say. for a fact, drawing every day will help you get better at it. And if you're using ink, you're going to want to practice. And there's a lot of resources and community and support around it. And honestly, where the controversy is going on, there are not definitive answers. All that we have right now is drama, but nothing really concrete. And I think like on stuff like this, especially online, as a community, we could probably get less involved. Because I don't know that we can help make the situation better other than wishing all the people involved the very best possible outcome. But yeah, they do that every day. And then there's prompts. There's prompts for it. And you come in and see other people. If you search the hashtag Inktober right now, you'll already see the internet being flooded with art and also controversy. But that's my take on the controversy, is that there isn't kind of a legal answer yet. And, my heart is just sad for all the participants. And I really hope everything works out okay.
And I hope
because all the artists involved are tremendous artists.
I hope all the artists involved profit heavily from the drama that they're involved in.
Oh, actually, for a fact, I bought both books. I'm like, and the minute Jake's comes out, I'm like, pre-order, boom. And then I already have Alfonso Dunn's. So I'm like, I had to get both books because I'm like, if I'm going to mix in, because I gave some advice, which is always the advice I always give artists, which is talk to your attorney often and copiously, especially when dealing with stuff online. But yeah, I wanted both artists to be okay. And I was really hoping that
wish you
everything would work out okay.
prosperity in your drama.
I do wish them, as much. I think their stuff is all really grown. As always happens with online drama, all the participants grow radically. Luckily, I am not in online drama because I don't think I have the temperament for it, but not luckily for my channel because I would probably be way millions of subs. I should just randomly call out a YouTuber and start some nonsense now.
It's so Cinnamon's
Actually, there's a couple YouTubers whose butts just clenched. They were like, "Not me." No, you're okay. You're safe for now.
Cinnamon's a sea biscuit. She's just she's just all yeah, I'm happy to hang out until someone's like, you want to fight? And she's like, oh, you want to go? I'm ready to go.
Yeah, that is true. It is true. I am a sea biscuit.
You're totally happy to poke around doing nothing until it's time.
Rebecca B says, are the vertical lines for Sarah's teeth slightly curved? When I do teeth like that, they always look off, and maybe it's because I do straight lines. Yes. So I do a fisheye on the teeth. The front line is fairly straight, but this line curves. Such a great question. That was a really good question, Rebecca. Very good art eye. So the line on the right tends to curve to the right, and the line on the left tends to curve to the left. Even in realistic teeth, there is a bit of this distortion that happens, especially as they go back into the head. So if as we do these kind of more cartoonish pop art pieces, that definitely is an impact. You come here and get my black line going again. Oh wait, I should probably. I'm good. I'll do this and then I will do my top lip. I'm just sort of adding that back in if it's needed. Now on her teeth here, I didn't do that as much.
Oh, your little smile lines for Sarah too.
Oh yeah, we have to have smile lines. And then there is, yeah, that's good. We're good. Good. Thank you. Don't let me forget anything.
You got to do the highlight on the purple lips.
I have to do the highlight, but I also have to fix that top purple lip because I don't feel like that coverage is very good. Guys, we're almost done. This is so.
Fix her Mac.
Bianca Bradley says paint fight between Cinnamon and Angeluni. Who can finish first?
Now, the irony behind that is
okay. Angela's a straight up awesome artist, but yes, I can finish first. I love her to death, but Angela does not feel, she's not speed driven. So, and it would ruin her good time, and I would not participate in something that would take away Angela's joy. But no, there's some artists out there that are little toots I wouldn't mind privately having a little moment with. That's cool. But not Angela. She's a sweetheart. What were you going to say? You made a face at me like I was crazy.
I can't. Well, that's because my eyes don't focus together anymore, and I'm having to squint to get one eye to.
No, but seriously, if you paint with Angela, she does not like to be rushed. It's not her favorite. It's not her favorite. She's like, it's not a speed component thing. And she's very paced. There we go. So, and when you have a lot of friends in art, you kind of get a sense of where their creative joy is, and you don't like to mess with it, if that makes sense. So my mom and I have now my mom and I are pretty quick, and we have early days on YouTube challenged each other to a speed paint and ridiculously could not even make our own time frame. And if we had any more time, I would re-challenge her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because I think we could do it better now. We could be like, how fast can you go? Probably
Interesting.
faster.
So Mary did also have a mole with Sarah. I see someone was saying something about it, and I was like, it's so funny because it depends on which movie poster you go look at, because I think they shopped it out of some of them. Because see,
I just looked at I grabbed screenshots from the movie. So if I missed a mole, it's because it wasn't within my screenshot, but you can add it.
Yeah, it's very subtle.
Yeah.
It's in the little crease of her mouth is why you don't always see it.
I think we got there. Unless y'all see something I don't see. Oh, I get to blackline the lip again.
Oh,
Let me
you got to
blackline the
sign
lip.
it too?
I got to sign it, and I want to blackline this lip again. Right here. Just to clean that up. Christine Smith says, will this help when you do realism? I would say actually this can help you see things in realism. If you look at caricature art, like you go look at caricature artists and you observe what they focus on and what they do, and then you look at the subject, like when it's famous people, like so if it's a caricature of Brad Pitt, look at what the artist did and then look at Brad Pitt, and it will help exaggerate some of the things that you want to be noticing as an artist when you're doing realism. If that's how you would use that, if that makes sense. I sometimes in landscape painting really pay attention to Studio Ghibli. In the simplistic way that they do things can sometimes help me if I'm feeling challenged in a particular landscape painting that I want to get a different result in.
Let me ask you something. Did you put any shadows on Winnie's teeth in the original?
No, there shouldn't be any shadows.
Okay, I was just curious.
Oh, I did. You're right. Winnie's teeth. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I did shade her teeth a teeny tiny bit. Thank you. Good eye, and thank you. You guys always take care of me. You don't let me get to talking and forget what I'm doing. So just a little bit. Notice that's a very light gray, though. That shadow is super light. It's not a big noticeable shadow. Coming in just the toe of my brush. I actually, though, in all seriousness, dread the day I get caught in like a real like online drama. I have even let things go that really I probably should have taken to the mattresses just because I just didn't want to be in it. Just didn't want to be in it. Sometimes like I'm like this when like someone cuts me off on the road too. I don't want to know them further. I don't want to have to talk to them more. I don't want to have to be part of their life more. So sometimes I'll let things go.
Yep, I get it.
So if I don't, stuff got real on the back end. If I start to lose my kid, it's because it's the 10th thing, not the first thing. All right, I'm going to keep going. But I always try to extract. My advice is if you find yourself in a stressful situation like that, just extract yourself, though. Yeah. Get away from what is stressing you out at that level. It isn't worth it. Like, I know people get a lot of subs and everything online, but dude. It may not. I can't imagine I like sleep, peaceful sleep. Like my drama to be like in my TV shows. Isn't that nice? That came out really good. I'm missing one of my detail brushes. I think one of my littles took it. Super annoyed about it. I will find it.
You'll find it.
So I'm going to take this detail brush. This is a one little detail brush, and I'm going to take the sizing out of it. Prime it is what that's called. And I'll go ahead and give this a sign.
Oh, yeah.
And again, I have the mask and a shirt and a mug. It wouldn't show. I couldn't get the Teespring to do it because, I don't know, it's under review, but you've got like a week or two to get it.
So
it's a limited edition.
Everyone is enjoying the spot the difference game between them. And so they were curious, is there a subtle shadow under Winnie's lips edges? Did you shadow her lip? Her upper lip?
Thank you guys.
But you can finish the
No, I'm fine.
It's a painting word. Sherpa. Sherpa.
Thank you very much. You are correct, guys. I did. Sometimes when I get to painting the references, I'm a little I just more focused, I imagine is what it is. I took a little bit of my black and my red and I'm allowing them to glaze. That's where the color is slightly transparent. And it gives a little bit of that effect. And then I will brush this along softly, just kind of soften that line.
That really does add a lot of depth, though.
Yeah, it does. Thank you. All right, before I put any more of my signature on there, guys.
I don't think so.
I think now I got to go back. Now we're playing Spot the Differences.
What's the differences? What's the difference?
One of the differences is CAD red medium.
Oh.
Professional paint.
Dun, dun, dun.
But I'm just going to make sure that there's a little bit of a brighter red there. Just a little.
That's pretty good.
A little bit. A little bit. Just play with it. Just playing with it. All right. That's the wrong color. I was signing in black.
For the Sherpa.
Are you excited because Dune's coming out again? Is that what that is? Amy Overt says she loves this so much. Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. Oh, I loved them.
The penguins
oh my goodness,
awesome.
The penguins were the best. The best. The very, very best. I wonder if we should do a Shirk Week again somewhere soon. Next year. Shirk Week it up. All right. What do you guys think?
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow we are doing, I believe it's the Three Sisters.
Yeah.
In is it the girl name? Which one is it? She can never leave. So I think we're doing very simplistic, really cute, based on one of my older Halloween tutorials that was super popular. I kind of updated it, included an extra sister as requested by my community to kind of reflect that. We put them dancing around a cauldron with falling flowers and magic petals weaving, and it should be a lot of fun, real bright, gorgeous piece. And I am really, really looking forward to it. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And I want to see you in an easel really soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.